All right. Good morning, Housing Committee members. Welcome to our meeting in person and here in Zoom. Since we have the majority of you on Zoom, I hope someone will give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. It's a little eerie being in a hearing room alone, although I am joined by very, very dedicated ranking member Representative Scott is also here in person with us at the LOB, and two more folks just walked in. So we're going to get going here. I don't know if we have any remarks from the chairs. I'll ask Senator Moore. Do you have any remarks?
Just good morning, and you're such a yeoman, and Representative Scott traveling in the weather. So thank you both.
Well, we're just grateful for everybody participating, either Zoom or in person. That's what matters, and hopefully people are staying safe with this inclement weather. Moving on, if I don't see any objection, we'll dive right in. I'd like to ask for a we're going to go to section 3 on the agenda, bills for review, and we're going to start with item number 1. And I'll ask for a motion for JF to the floor. Do I have a motion? Senator Moore, I think you're on mute.
Motion by Senator Moore.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. Motioned, the bill has been motioned by Senator Moore and seconded by Representative Butler. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I have my hand raised.
I apologize, Senator. I apologize, Senator Sampson. Welcome, Senator. You have the floor, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and thank you very much. And I'm glad we're starting on time. I have another meeting at 10 o'clock, so it's going to be a tough morning. But anyway, just regarding Senate Bill 908, and forgive me for taking a second. It doesn't look like the agenda, the links actually open the pages, so it's taking me an extra second here. But I guess I have some basic questions on this one. It's an act concerning the Housing Trust Fund. And my understanding is that it's eliminating what is being referred to as an obsolete advisory committee. And I guess the first question I have is, what makes the advisory committee obsolete? I was looking through the bill, and it seems to me that if we have a housing trust fund, somebody at one time thought it was a good idea to have these, stakeholders involved in helping advise. And I'm just curious what the reason is why we're removing it. Through Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Thank you for that thoughtful question, Senator. I actually asked the exact same question myself to our friends at the Department of Housing. And I guess when this fund, for the edification of the committee members, when this fund was created, I think back in 2005. And at that time, all right, we're just a little tech difficulties here. Many of our committee staff also called out today. So I hope the committee members will be very, very grateful and also patient with Rick O'Neill, who is our incredible committee clerk and is, I think, doing the job of like 4 people right now here in the room by himself. So grateful for your patience. But to answer your question, Senator, when this Housing Trust Fund was first created, there was an advisory group that helped it get off the ground and establish regulations and sort of figure out how to start and get the ball rolling. But once it was in process, the need for the advisory committee was no longer necessary, because it's now been in existence for over 15 years. And so over time, it hasn't been meeting. The advisory entity has no longer been necessary in recent years.
I appreciate that answer, Mr. Chairman. Just one other thing. Do you know how much taxpayer money is in that housing trust fund currently, and how much they spend in a given year, et cetera?
I don't have that exact figure in front of me, but I'm sure our friends on perhaps finance may have some thoughts on that. I believe it is largely bonded funds, but there could potentially be appropriated funds that go in there. But unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you on that. But we could certainly have OFA research that for you and get back to you, Senator.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to vote no on this bill today. I think I can be convinced otherwise. It's just knowing very little about this situation and just reading the language that we are going to be deleting from the current law. It just raises a little bit of a red flag for me. That trust fund program advisory committee met semi-annually and advised the commissioner on administration, management, and objectives of the housing trust fund. I think those are things that would stay important long after the formation of the process for the trust fund to operate. So I have a little concern about eliminating all these stakeholders. So I'm going to flag this bill with a no today. Look forward to more conversation. If someone can give me a compelling reason to say that we shouldn't be having these folks involved anymore, I can change my mind. But thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. And I will just add, I believe one of the appointed entities to the advisory council, CHFA, and CHFA is now frequently applying for funds from the Housing Trust Fund. So I don't know if that perhaps is a rationale, Senator, for you or any committee members, but I might argue that it might not be ideal to have folks directly advising the Housing Trust Fund and then also frequently applying for funding from the Housing Trust Fund. And so that may perhaps provide a rationale for members to vote yes. Any additional comments or questions? Representative Scott, in person.
Thank you. Yes, just real quick, just to confirm, again, this is just a double confirmation here that there's no funds actually in the fund that is existing as of today. So again, the Housing Trust Fund, there is actually no dollars sitting in there today.
Thank you, Representative. I don't believe that's the case. I believe there is money in the Housing Trust Fund, but it is the advisory committee that was established when the Housing Trust Fund was first created to help it get set up and operate and make sure that stakeholders were helping to inform guidelines and regulations that had to be promulgated at DOH at that time was very helpful. But since that was a long time ago and it's now up and running, I don't believe the advisory entity is necessary, hasn't been meeting, and has been basically obsolete for the last, as I understand it, several years. And I hope that clarifies the situation.
It does, I guess. So my question is, do you know how much money is in the Housing Trust Fund today?
I don't have that figure in front of me at the moment, but I do. I don't know if we have the Office of Fiscal Analysis on the Zoom with us. If they're here, maybe they might like to chime in. They might be preoccupied shoveling out their cars or something, but I don't see them here, but we can certainly get that information to you and report back. Representative Butler from the great city of Waterbury.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. And thank you for calling on me. I had some initial concerns when I saw this as well, but I am fine with voting on it today. But I too would like to know how much we have in that fund and how it's been used over the last few years. Those two questions I just like to have answered, but I'm okay with voting for it today and actually getting that information, and look forward to voting on it when it's next before us. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Butler. And not seeing any other questions or comments, we will, I guess we'll ask for a roll call vote so that folks can register their votes. So I guess Mr. Clerk, please call the roll on JF to the floor, Senate Bill 908.
This is going to be a vote to approve SB 908 JF to the floor. Representative Luxembourg,
Yes.
Senator Moore,
Yes,
okay, Representative Khan,
Representative Khan votes yes.
Senator Lesser, Representative Scott,
Representative Scott votes yes.
Senator Sampson,
Senator Sampson votes no.
Representative Paletta,
Representative Paletta votes yes.
Representative Weir,
Representative Weir votes no.
Representative Zulo, Representative Brown,
Representative Brown votes yes.
Representative Butler,
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative Gonzalez, Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Senator Fonfara,
Senator Fonfara votes yes.
Senator Hockenell,
Senator Hockenell votes yes.
Senator Lesser.
Thank you, Mr. Committee Clerk. We are going to hold the votes open. We just want to be sensitive to the weather challenges that members may be facing. Actually, I know even some have, I think, contacted me to say their internet is out at their home, so they may even be in transit to find a place to Zoom in or to get here. So in light of that, we're going to hold votes open until the start of the public hearing, which is scheduled to start at 11 o'clock. So moving on, the votes will be held open. Moving on to item number 2 on our agenda, an act concerning Senate Bill 1049, an act concerning payment standards and applications for the Federal Housing Choice Voucher Program. This is a JF to the floor. Can I have a motion?
Motion to JF to the floor, Representative Butler.
Thank you, Representative Butler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Fonfara. Any discussion? Any discussion? Senator Sampson, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just going through this bill, I noticed that there are quite a few changes, although I think most of them, it's just the LCO folks doing a little cleanup. I just want to make sure that the substance of this bill is nothing more really than what is captured in lines 38 through 49. The rest of the changes are just technical. I just want to confirm that. And then I'll just ask a simple question, which is that lines 38 through line 49 speak to the requirement for the housing authority to post on their website the maximum monthly assistance payment that is available. And I appreciate that there's a note here that a disclaimer will be required to show that participants, they may not get the full payment based on their specific financial circumstances. I have a little concern about the confusion this might create by simply posting the maximum amount because every situation is different. Every property is different. The maximum is going to change dramatically based on a lot of circumstances. I'm a little concerned that people might be misled by this. I don't have an objection to the policy. I just hope that when they actually do it in practice, that it's clear to the viewer that they know what's going on. So if you could just confirm for me that there are no other changes other than that substance, and the rest of these items that I see with the brackets and underlining are just technical. Through you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sampson. Indeed, that's my reading of the legislation as well. And I too share your interest in making sure those public postings are clear and not misleading to anybody. And we can have ongoing discussions if if needed to further clarify. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, I think I'm going to call for a voice vote if there isn't an objection.
Mr. Chairman, for any final action vote, such as a JF or JFS, it needs to be a roll call vote.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was a rookie chairman mistake. My apologies to the committee members. But you can't fault me for making a nod toward expediency. So we do have the clerk physically here by the grace of God. So we will, Rick, I think we're done with discussion, and I'd like to ask for a roll call vote on Senate Bill 1049 JF to the floor.
Okay, this is a roll call vote on SB 1049, JF to the floor. Representative Luxembourg,
Yes.
Senator Moore,
yes,
Representative Khan,
Representative Khan votes yes.
Senator Lesser,
Senator Lesser in the affirmative.
Representative Scott,
Representative Scott, yes.
Senator Sampson,
Sampson is yes.
Representative Brown,
Representative Brown, yes.
Representative Butler,
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative Gonzalez, Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Senator Fonfara,
Senator Fonfara votes yes.
Senator Hockendahl,
Senator Hockendahl votes yes.
Representative Paletta, Representative Weir,
Representative Weir, yes.
Representative Zulo.
Great. That vote will be held open as well until the start of the public hearing. Next, item number 3, House Bill 6592, an act requiring the consideration of housing needs for individuals with developmental disabilities in municipal affordable housing plans. Can I have a motion for a JF to the floor?
Motion to JF to the floor.
Uh,
Representative Butler,
Moved by Representative Butler. Can I have a second?
Second,
Seconded by Senator Fonfara. Any discussion? Representative Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to confirm that this is one that is ultimately going to be part of HB 5001, the larger overarching bill. I just want to confirm that's the idea for this bill that's going to go into that direction.
Yes, there is a wonderful bipartisan working group that I know you, Representative Scott, are involved with. I think our Vice Chair, Representative Khan, and also Representative Jay Case, and our colleagues on the Human Services Committee that have expertise in policies related to the IDD community. Everybody's working collaboratively together on this, and the thought is that there'll be a larger 5001 bill that will take different parts and piece them together. We're the housing committee, so we have the housing piece, and I think the proposal in front of us is an excellent one, and would certainly encourage members to vote yes to JF it out. And thank you for that question. Any additional questions? Nope. Any additional questions from any committee members? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll for a JF to the floor, House Bill 6592. And I would ask members to state their name before they vote. I failed to provide that instruction earlier.
This is a vote to move to JF House Bill 6592, an act requiring the consideration of housing needs for individuals with developmental disabilities in municipal affording housing plans to the floor. Representative Luxembourg,
Luxembourg votes yes.
Senator Moore,
Senator Moore votes yes,
Representative Khan,
Representative Khan votes yes.
Senator Lesser,
Senator Lesser, yes.
Representative Scott,
Representative Scott votes yes.
Senator Sampson,
Sampson is yes.
Representative Brown,
Representative Brown votes yes.
Representative Butler,
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative Gonzalez, Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Senator Fonfara,
Senator Fonfara votes yes.
Senator Hockenell,
Senator Hockenall votes yes.
Representative Poletta. Yes. Representative Weir,
Representative Weir, yes.
Representative Zulo.
Okay, that will be held open as well. Moving on to item number 4, House Bill number 6707. This is actually going to be a JFS, joint favorable substitute to the floor. And that LCO number for that JFS is LCO 5201. Do I have a motion to JFS LCO 5201 on House Bill number 6707 to the floor?
Motion.
Motion made by Senator Moore. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Senator Fonfara. Any discussion? Senator Sampson?
Mr. Chairman, forgive me, but we were not made aware that this was going to be a substitute bill. And I just tried the CGA website and I cannot pull up that LCO either. So I have no idea what the substitute language is. Is there a way we can get this document?
It's coming right now.
Yes, Senator, there is the substitute only has one change. And it is just inserting a number that was inadvertently missing. And we happen
I
to
understand because that was my concern with the bill.
Yes, we simply went to section 3, line 46, and we simply asserted the number 5 in line 46, and that resolved the issue, and that's what triggered the JFS language. And we certainly wanted to get that out to folks. I believe it has been emailed out or is being emailed out, but if you're looking at the old version, the only change is inserting the number 5 in line 46.
Mr. Chair, if I could, it's actually 5 million.
Yep. Yes, I thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification also, because it would have been $5, which would be a very small appropriation. Thank you very much for the clarification, Mr. Chairman and Jonathan as well. I appreciate it.
Representative Scott.
Thank you. And then also confirming the previous question I had about this bill, is this going to also be part of the HB 5001 bill? That'll be incorporating all the IDD bills that are being put together in different committees.
Indeed, it is. This is also part of that same bipartisan working group, and grateful for the clarification. If it was only costing $5 as opposed to 5 million, we would have asked Senator Sampson to just pay for it out of his pocket. But I appreciate the clarification, and I apologize for misspeaking to the committee. Any additional comments? Representative Scott.
One additional comment is, can you confirm that, so this will go to the floor, just so for process sake, but because of the $5 million appropriation, this will either have to go to finance or appropriations at some point?
Yeah, yes, based on my reading of the bill, I would expect that it might go to both finance and appropriations because of the bonding in the earlier section of the bill and the appropriation in the later section. So I would imagine it would find its way to both, most likely.
Thank you.
Any additional comments? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll on JFS of House Bill 6707, and the LCO number on that is 5201 for JFS to the floor.
Okay, the following is a vote to JFS to the floor. Number 6707, an act authorizing bonds of the state and appropriating state funds for intellectual disabilities and autism spectrum disorder housing programs and reentry centers. Representative Luxembourg.
Luxembourg, yes.
Senator Moore.
Moore, yes.
Representative Scott.
Representative Scott votes yes.
Senator Sampson,
Sampson is yes.
Representative Khan,
Representative Khan votes yes.
Senator Lesser, Representative Brown,
Representative Brown votes yes.
Representative Butler,
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative Gonzalez, Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Senator Fonfara,
Senator Fonfara votes yes.
Representative Hockenell,
Senator Hockenell votes yes.
Representative Paletta, Representative Weir,
Rep. Weir is yes.
Representative Zulo. And I apologize if I said Representative Hockenell, Senator Hockenell, my apologies.
All right. Well, again, we'll leave that vote open, and committee members can debate whether that was a demotion or a promotion, depending on how you feel about the House or Senate, but certainly not as egregious as confusing 5 with 5 million. So we appreciate you, Rick. Moving on to item number 5, Senate Bill 943. An act concerning the return of security deposits upon the termination of tenancy. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for a JFS to the floor. And for those following along, that's going to be LCO 4805. JFS to the floor. Can I have a motion?
Motion, Senator Moore.
Mr. Chair, I believe this one is actually LCO 4803.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Let me call for it again, just to clarify. That's a JFS to the floor, LCO 4803.
Senator Moore motions.
Moved by Senator Moore. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Fonfara. Any discussion? I see Senator Sampson has his hand up. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You were doing so good. And of course, you get to this item on the agenda. This would effectively change the amount of time that a landlord has to issue a final statement regarding the security deposit after the termination of a tenancy from 30 days to 15 days. And I'm just curious, first off, what's the reason for the bill? Are we hearing from tenants complaining? Has the housing court notified us this is an issue? I'm just curious where this comes from, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that question, Senator Sampson. So there are, I believe, at least 8 other states that have shortened their time frame for when landlords are to return the tenant's security deposit to them. The proposal came to us from the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence. They hear frequently from individuals who may be experiencing domestic violence and are looking to move to a safer location. And one of the barriers can be that the landlord can hold their security deposit for 30 days. And if they happen to need that security deposit, which again is their money that's being held, that additional delay as compared to other states may be a barrier for those folks looking to get into new safe housing. We had initially looked at making it 10 days. I think we heard some concerns about that from both committee members and members of the public. We ended up finding what I think is a reasonable compromise of 15 business days, which is not the same as 15 days. 15 business days is really 3 weeks. So we're not altering the time frame dramatically, but I could imagine scenarios where 15 business days versus 30 days could be significant in certain situations. And I, for one, would like to move this forward. Senator Sampson.
Yeah, thank you for that answer, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, for me, this bill presents a couple of problems. First and foremost, I feel like these 15 days is simply an arbitrary time frame, and it's being chosen for no other purpose but then to illustrate some effort on the part of the committee to further slant our policy in the state towards tenants versus landlords. I think the policy ought to be beneficial to both parties, and I believe the 30 days did achieve that. What's not being recognized in this proposal is that there is a period of time after the termination of a tenancy, if there is damage. Now, if there's no damage whatsoever, it makes no sense for the landlord to hold the security deposit more than it takes time to process it. They ought to be giving it back right away. In fact, most of my colleagues that I have worked with and clients in the real estate industry, I know that they often are prepared to cut a check at the end of a walkthrough, where they exchange the keys. I think that works out in those cases. The problem is when you have a situation where there are damages, the landlord has now got a job to do, which is to itemize those damages and very often procure estimates. And I can tell you that getting a contractor at this date and time is a very difficult thing to do. And to get them to come out and determine the amount of damage and itemize that for you so you can produce a statement might be very difficult to do within 15 days. Certainly 15 days is better than 10 days. And that's appreciated. But again, I think this bill is just here to send a message, and it is an arbitrary change, and it will have a real world impact. And I can see landlords simply estimating something on the high side and applying that against someone's security deposit. That's not a benefit to a tenant. And that's my concern. I would like to see policy that is thoughtful, not simply because 8 other states did something. To me, that means absolutely nothing. 8 other states could be making a bad decision. We don't need to follow them. We should have thoughtful discussion. I'm going to go back and review the testimony that was submitted on this particular proposal to see if there was anything of any substance, because I don't remember during the actual public hearing that this item was addressed in a big way. There was certainly testimony on it. But I don't know that anyone made any real significant point about how this would be a valid policy change that benefits anyone, including tenants. So I'm going to vote no on it today, Mr. Chairman, and I'll do some more digging. We don't want landlords holding security deposits beyond a reasonable time frame, but we do want to accommodate the ability for them to actually, prepare a proper statement that is fair and legitimate to the tenant. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Sampson. Any additional comments? I think Representative Paletta looks eager to weigh in.
I wouldn't call it eager. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm still trying to figure out how much ice is left on my driveway that I'm gonna have to clean tomorrow, probably when we're done with this. But I will just say a few words. Number one, I think that the compromise made on this item is significant, and it's at least as someone who rents properties, who consider themselves a housing provider, is appreciated in that regard. I don't think that this should be the final language, and I don't think it should be the final bill, so I will vote no, flag it. However, I'm very optimistic that in the spirit of bipartisanship and in the way in which we've been operating this committee this session, that there might be a few tweaks that we can make and get this bill easily over the finish line when we start debating it in the full House and Senate. What I will say is the big caveat for me here is the landlord and contractor relationship. We usually talk about tenants and landlords. Here, a contractor oftentimes will take an extended period of time to actually give you a valid estimate. Sometimes the contractor, for whatever reason, could be tied up on another job. could be on vacation, perhaps, you know, sometimes these smaller jobs, like for instance, if you need to replace a door, it's difficult to get a carpenter to come out to just replace a door. They usually will go at the larger jobs first. So if you're in the construction field, you'll know that if you had the option of wiring a home or changing a light bulb, you would probably pick the large job, which then would tie up your manpower and your force. So it does take time to get an estimate. I've been in a situation where we've waited 2 or 3 weeks alone to get priced, let's say, on carpeting, and then the install. And if the equipment or the supplies are on back order, especially in the time of the pandemic, they couldn't tell you when that would be in and how much it would cost when it did come in. And of course, it goes without saying, it's probably not relevant here, but there was a lot of price gouging, which of course was passed down to the consumer, and folks, particularly on the middle and low income scales, got hurt most by price gouging. So this all kind of correlates with this one item where 3 weeks, 5 business days, 15 business days, 3 weeks, I think is very reasonable. And I really believe that that's a good time period. What I'm concerned about is the instances where, while they might be rare, but where the landlord actually cannot get an accurate estimate in time. And as my colleague mentioned, they may even estimate on the higher side, and that would in turn adversely impact the person seeking their security deposit back. So with that, I will vote no to flag this, but I'm optimistic that this bill can be tweaked in a very minor way, and I will be happy to support it. And I thank the chairman here for his willingness to compromise on this and get this over the finish line. So I'm very thankful for that. And I think we'll be talking about this bill in the legislative session coming up in a month or two. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Paletta. Representative Minnie Gonzalez is in the room in Hartford. You have the floor, madam.
That's because I live in Hartford. I got a question. Currently, the law said that you have 30 days to return the deposit. But if a landlord don't return the deposit in 30 days, you can take the landlord to court. And then you can ask up to $2,500. It doesn't matter if you gave $50 deposit or whatever. But I believe that's the current law, that you can take the landlord to court and you can ask for that money. And I know that for a fact because I was a tenant before. So if this is going to apply, if we change the current law, if that's going to be the same or that is going to change.
Thank you, Representative Gonzalez. This proposal does not change the process, the due process rights of a tenant to go to court over security deposit dispute, nor does it change the amount that they can go after. If that answers your question. So there's no change to that part of our general statutes as I see it. It's only hastening the time frame by which landlords have to return the tenant's security deposit, which again is their money that's being held by the landlord in a slightly faster compromised sort of time frame that we've established as 15 business days, which is about 3 weeks. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Representative Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And while I've seen the original bill talked about 10 days, I see there was some movement back to 15 days. And I certainly understand the attempt here to actually put money in the hands of folks that are going through domestic violence. It's a big problem and we need to help wherever we can. But I also have a concern. I heard some of the landlords talk about the access to contractors and how long it takes to get them on the scene. And my concern is on for both parties. We want to make sure we get those people their money back, but I'm also concerned with if they don't have a valid estimate from a contractor that they will charge more, and that would fall under the category of unintended consequences for the very people we're trying to help. That the effect of this is going to be that they're going to be charged more than what may be the actual damages. So I know there's still some room between 15 and 30. So there may be some room for another little compromise there. And the difference being is this would be a bill that instead of being debated for hours on the floor, that could just come up and sail right through. So, and help the people that we're trying to help. So I just wanted to share those comments, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. But I will be voting for it today in hopes that we can achieve that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Butler, and I too share your vision for all of our important housing bills just sailing through the floor of the House and being thoughtful and bipartisan as you envision. Representative Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I firstly want to thank both chairs on this committee as the bipartisan nature that we've had so far, specifically with this bill alone, to get to the point where we are today, I think is very appreciative. Negotiating to 15 business days from 10 is a step. I do agree with Representative Butler, Senator Sampson, and Representative Paletta, who spoke before. I do worry about the contractor piece. That's the one piece. I wish there was some kind of wording we could put in there just to protect that little nuance, because I think if it wasn't for that nuance and worry, the time and place we are in our society in terms of how a lot of these trades folks are very highly sought after, and getting them in for maybe a small job is difficult. So that's the one worry I have about this. So I do appreciate the ongoing conversation that I hope we do have, that we can maybe get this over the finish line. I'm going to vote no, but I want to be flagged just to flag it. But I want to say thank you for the negotiations and for the conversation. But I want to keep that going. But I just want to say that, and I appreciate the conversation. Hope we continue on with that as we move forward.
Thank you, Representative. Any additional discussion? I would just add that I think 15 business days, 3 weeks is a long time still to a certain degree, and I think that the types of maintenance issues that require a very specialized contractor can be done easily in 3 weeks. I think the more sort of minor cosmetic issues that may sometimes arise can certainly be done much faster. And so I think this compromise is sort of addressing some of the concerns that we've heard in this meeting. But I am happy to continue to work with everybody on the committee and all of our colleagues if additional changes do need to be made down the road. And at this time, I'd ask folks to vote yes, so we can keep the progress moving on this item. I don't see any additional discussion. So at this point, I'd ask the clerk for a roll call vote on a JFS of Senate Bill 943, an act concerning the return of security deposits upon the termination of tenancy. And I suppose I ought to clarify, since I think I may have misspoke earlier, that what we are JFSing is LCO number 4803. Mr. Clerk.
All right, this vote is to JFS to the floor, SB number 943, an act concerning the return of security deposits upon the termination of tenancy. It is also LCO 4803. Representative Luxembourg.
Luxembourg, yes.
Senator Moore.
Moore, yes.
Representative Scott.
Representative Scott votes no.
Senator Sampson.
Sampson is no.
Representative Khan,
Representative Khan votes yes.
Senator Lesser, Representative Brown,
Representative Brown votes yes.
Representative Butler,
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative Gonzalez,
Gonzalez vote yes.
Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Senator Fonfara,
Senator Fonfara votes yes.
Senator Hockenell,
Senator Hockenell votes yes.
Representative Pauletta, Representative Weir, Representative Zulo.
Okay, again, that will be held open until the start of our public hearing, which I know you're all very much looking forward to. Number 6, moving on, an act concerning the Common Interest Ownership Act. Can I have and that is LCO 4805. And I'm looking for a motion to JFS that to the floor.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved by Senator Fonfara and seconded by Representative Gonzalez. Do we have any discussion on this item? Representative Scott.
Yeah, I'm just hoping, and I know we've talked about this topic. This is a very nuanced topic. So I just ask if you could try your best to be able to try to explain what this nuance change to the law is.
Yeah, I appreciate that question, Representative Scott. So this proposal came to us from Representative Fazzino, and what it attempts to do is simply it's highly technical, and it attempts to clarify a very minor ambiguity in our statutes that have led like maybe one attorney or two attorneys in the state to exploit an ambiguity and take sort of legal action against condominiums and HOA associations. And so what this bill simply does is it makes just clarifying what I think was the original intent as it relates to that discrepancy in the Common Interest Ownership Act, so that I would say bad actor attorneys aren't exploiting a confusion in the law and sort of jamming up our courts with nuisance lawsuits. And I think that's a good thing. Anytime we can clean up a discrepancy and make it more clear for all parties, I think that's something that we ought to do. Any additional questions, concerns? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll for JFS of House Bill 6631, LCO 4805.
All right, this is a vote to move House Bill 6631, an act concerning the Common Interest Ownership Act, as a JFS to the floor. It is LCO number 4805. Representative Luxembourg,
Luxembourg, yes.
Senator Moore,
Moore, yes.
Representative Scott,
Representative Scott votes yes.
Senator Sampson,
Sampson is yes.
Representative Khan,
Representative Khan votes yes.
Representative Khan, I just need to see you on camera, please.
Can you see me?
There you are. Perfect.
Representative Khan votes yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Senator Lesser, Representative Brown,
Representative Brown votes yes.
Representative Butler,
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative Gonzalez,
Gonzalez vote yes.
Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Senator Fonfara,
Senator Fonfara votes yes.
Senator Hockenell,
Senator Hockenell votes yes.
Representative Pauletta, Representative Weir, Representative Zulo.
Mr. Clerk, I think
Oh.
Senator Lesser might be
Senator Lesser?
attempting to cast a vote.
Hello.
Hi, do you want to cast a vote on House Bill 6631?
I do.
Do you want me to read?
Senator Lester in the affirmative.
Thank you.
Did I miss anything else?
Senator, we have one more item on the agenda that we're going to call now, and then all the votes will be held open until the start of the public hearing, so we can
Okay, great.
certainly circle right back to you shortly. At this time, we're going to move to item number 7, Senate Bill number 996, an act concerning housing development in the state, establishing a housing authority resident quality of life improvement grant program and a housing choice voucher task force, requiring the disclosure of certain natural person ownership interests in real property. Can I have a motion for a JF to the floor?
So moved, Mr.
That
Chairman.
was moved by Representative Paletta. It's very exciting in person here. Who seconded it?
I
Okay,
will
all right. We're going to give it to Representative Gonzalez for the second. Any discussion on this important item that comes to us from, I believe, Senator Kelly? Not seeing any discussion. So with that, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll for Senate Bill 996, JF to the floor.
Okay, this is a roll call vote to JF to the floor. Senate Bill number 996, an act concerning housing development in the state, establishing a housing authority, resident quality of life improvement grant program, and the housing choice voucher task force, and requiring the disclosure of certain natural person ownership interests in real property. Representative Luxembourg.
Luxembourg, yes.
Senator Moore.
Senator Moore, yes.
Representative Scott.
Representative Scott votes yes.
Senator Sampson.
Sampson is yes.
Representative Khan.
Representative Khan votes yes.
Senator Lesser.
Senator Lester votes yes.
Senator Lesser, I just need to see you on camera, please.
Senator Lester votes yes again.
Thank you, sir. Representative Brown.
Representative Brown votes yes.
Representative Butler.
Representative Butler votes yes.
Representative Gonzalez.
Representative Gonzalez vote yes.
Representative Roberts.
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Senator Fonfara.
Senator Fonfara votes yes.
Senator, I just need to see you on camera, please.
I am on camera, but I'll
There you are. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Senator Hockenell.
Senator Hockenell votes yes.
Representative Paletta.
Yes.
Representative Weir. Representative Zullo.
Okay, at this time, I would like to recess the meeting until the start of our public hearing. The votes will be held open. You can check in person in 1A with Clerk Rick O'Neill or on Zoom to cast any votes that you may have missed. And we will be in recess until the start of our public hearing at 11. We do have a committee meeting coming up later this week, Thursday, March 2nd. And I believe the start time of that meeting to be determined, but it might be somewhere between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. You'll have to wait to find out when exactly, but it will be a big meeting. So get ready for a big day on Thursday, but we'll be starting at some point Thursday morning, March 2nd, to be determined. And at this point, we'll recess the meeting until the start of the hearing. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Clerk, whenever you're ready.
Okay,
What do I miss?
what's that, sir?
What did I miss?
Okay, so, I believe you missed, an act authorizing, bonds of the state and appropriating state funds for intellectual disabilities and autism spectrum disorder, housing programs and reentry centers.
Senator
Oh,
Lester,
That's a JF to the floor.
Senator Lester in the affirmative.
Okay, and the only other one I believe Senator Lesser is this is also a JF to the floor, an act requiring the consideration of housing needs for individuals with developmental disorders in municipal affordable housing plans.
Senator Lester in the affirmative.
All right, thank you, sir. You voted on all seven.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Clerk. I was just wondering if we will be using this Zoom link, or is there going to be another one for the public hearing?
There's another one and I will send it off to you, Representative Butler. If you give me like 5 minutes, I will send it to your email account, and you should, because it's distinctly just for you, sir.
Okay,
Okay, give me about 5 minutes, sir, okay?
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Hey, do I need to? All right, so. What's that?